Thanks, R.D. And the first thing I have to say, it's the very first time that Jay was my backup. I'm usually backup to him, so I feel very honored to be here. It's great to be here. I should have brought some of my NASA stories, but I'm happy to share any with you if you want to afterwards. I just want to talk a little bit about agriculture in general and thinking about the future of agriculture. I decided to bring some slides because I knew everybody would eat a delicious dinner, and if you're like me, you get sort of sleepy. So I was hoping that my slides will keep you awake. So let me tell you a little bit. I'm not going to talk too much about Purdue. I just had to have this one bragging point. We are number 4 in the US and number 8 in the world according to the QS World Rankings. And what that gives you is a great opportunity to do agriculture in the state. We have Sherilyn here. We're great friends. We partner on things. There's lots of ways that Huntington and us can work together. There's Grace College in the back. Lots of opportunities for all of agriculture to work together. Much like you do on your farms, we do the same in our colleges. So this is a slide from USDA, and it just goes through some of the kind of issues that are hitting us in agriculture. I think most of you can read that. Urbanization, environmental degradation, changing income and diets, conflict and migration, trade, globalization, lots of different things are hitting us in agriculture and really will influence this next generation. We've got lots of opportunities is what that means. And I was going to go through a little bit of that. I do think it's important always when we sit here and eat such a delicious meal to remember that there are 690 million people in the world that go to bed hungry every night. That's a lot of people. And we tend to think of this as a problem in developing countries, but I do want you to notice that there's 850,000 people right here in the state of Indiana that are hungry. 1 in 7 children go hungry each day. And it's just something that we need to reflect on. We're lucky enough to enjoy a great meal, and we need to figure out how to make sure that everybody can enjoy some of the riches that we enjoy in agriculture. Okay, what about the future? To prepare a sustainable future, agriculture needs to be a part of the solution. So we talked about a few of those problems. We have to be part of that solution, and there's many, many different areas that we're working on, and I wanted to show you some of those areas just to get you excited about the future of agriculture. And basically the future of agriculture is with our FFA students, it's with our 4-H students, it's with the other youth in this room. That's who's going to make the difference for us in the future. And we'll go through a couple of examples of that. So how many of you have had fruit juice boxes? You probably have had some fruit juice boxes, right? Well, the technology for fruit juice boxes, it's called aseptic packaging, actually came from Purdue University. So a fellow named Phil Nelson, who won the World Food Prize, he actually invented the technology that makes those fruit juice boxes possible that so many of us enjoy and allows juice to be shipped around the world. We also have a group working on fruits and vegetables in lots of different countries, because the other thing that we take for granted here in the US, we ate that food, and I don't think any of us are worried about food poisoning. The bottom line is if you don't have safe food, you might as well not have food. We've got a group that works on bacterial contamination fresh vegetables and looking at focusing interventions in Cambodia to help them have a fresh, healthy supply of food. The other thing we look at, and a few of our students were at this morning, the Internet of Things for agriculture. The bottom line is those little smartphones that we have, and most of you who have farms know, it already has tools that you can use on your farm. And it's going to continue to grow that way. And the nice thing is, I think most of you, your kids probably know more about those smartphones than somebody like me does. So this is a great opportunity for them to start pulling all the information together from your farm, because the Internet of Things, what it does is connect all those devices so that you can make timely decisions and improve on the decision making. Plant stress is important. How many of you had floods in your area this year? How many? A couple over here. How many had droughts? you didn't have any droughts. You are really, really lucky. As you know, there are areas of the country right now that are in severe drought. We have to, and while it may not have been us this year, it may be next year. We all know that. So one of the things we need to do is understand how plants grow, how that stress impacts them, so we can plant the best varieties that continue to grow. So this is it's called the Ag Alumni Phenotyping Facility, and you can control the water, you can control the nutrients, you can control everything about the plant, the light, the time of day, the temperature, and it goes through that belt, and you get this. Here's a tomato plant, and it actually goes in and it gets all imaged, including the roots right through the pot. And you can see, those are what the roots look like, so that you can actually continue to see how this plant is growing, how the roots are growing, and we know that the roots have big impact, especially under stress conditions. So lots of great things. And this is images of a number of different crops there on the right. So lots of great things you can do, and that this next generation will be able to help us understand this. This X-ray CT scan that we do of roots, we're the only ones in the country that can do that. But it's not just about what we can do in the lab, it really has to go out to the field. And this is the Indiana Corn and Soy Innovation Center. We have lots of fun things we can do there, and one of them is we have a number of different robots that climb between those rows and analyze those crops. We also have drones that fly overhead, and I noticed that your FFA organization in 2020 said drones are one of the top 5 careers in agriculture. So exciting opportunities, and Travis over there has been teaching some of those drone classes now. So really exciting to see that getting to our kids, because this is another way we can make a big difference on our farms. Okay, so we talked about the farms, but in between the farms, many of you may have woodland or forests. One of the things that's interesting is we always talk about the forests, they're just there. But there's an opportunity in those forests, and we can take advantage of them in the future. There's opportunities, I mean, you've all heard about carbon, but it's more than carbon. Understanding what that forest looks like, where's the damage for fire? We know that wildfires are a big issue. And this is a drone image of a forest, and you'll see in a minute the drone is going to fly through it. It's a 3D reconstruction of that forest. All this red stuff in the bottom, that's debris. That's what causes forest fires. So if you can start flying drones through and measuring that, you can actually measure the propensity for something to catch fire. And I can tell you it's a lot cheaper to clean it up before it goes on fire than to wait till that fire happens. So lots of opportunities in our forest. This is an area that we're really working on. Also, it's interesting that the forest fire, the Forest Service actually counts trees. They give a census of trees, and they tell us how many they are. They actually have people that go out in the forest and walk and count them, like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. They only count 1% of the trees and then estimate how many trees there are. This kind of technology allows you to really get a good estimate of what kind of trees. It allows you to look at the damage on trees. This is just one simple technology. There's a whole bunch of them. Allows you to see what kind of damage there is on these trees. How can we stop the spread of disease of trees? So lots of opportunities for that next generation. Solar panels. Don't want to talk a lot about solar panels because I'll get in trouble if I go too far. But this is the future to me of solar panels. They're not on the ground. You farm underneath them, and this is some research being done at Purdue. It's not perfected yet. But those panels move so that the panels can catch the sun and get some electricity, but you can also farm underneath them. That stops part of the debate, not all of the debates, between this energy versus speed. So really exciting opportunity, and it's your kids that are going to be able to get this type of technology and move it forward, continue to move it forward. Digital agriculture is actually far behind in the digital revolution. It continues to move forward, but we need to do more using digital tools for the future of agriculture. This is a great big area of exploration. You can see agriculture is down at the bottom here, ag and hunting. So lots of opportunities for growth. has been growing. This slide's a little bit old, but there's not a new one, so I had to use the old one. It has been growing, but we continue to see ways that we can use the information we get on our smartphone, on our farms, the amount of data we get on a dairy farm, for example. How do we bring all those systems together? I was talking yesterday to someone who has a really, really big dairy. They have so many different systems. Getting those systems to talk together is a real issue. And with people working on how do you get those working together? And it's like 84 billion data points. So it's really quite a challenge. Here's the other kind of data, and I think we know this, but what does it really look like? How does the cost of food impact what we eat? So this is an effort by AgEcon where they're scraping data from the web to see what food costs. How much is that cost of food? How is it changing? They can also look at what consumers think. And so doing work to see what are consumers saying about these Impossible Burgers, the plant-based burgers that get so much press. Well, the bottom line when you scrape the data, they aren't eating that many of these Impossible Burgers, these plant-based burgers. So we get to do things like that and start using social media to figure out what do people want? What do they eat? It's really important for the future of agriculture. We've got to know what people want and what they eat so that we can grow the right crops, sell the right foods for the future. And I think one of the questions so many people ask, do we actually need people in the future? There's an autonomous tractor, Bear Flag Robotics, that's actually a John Deere tractor, and they would, that one doesn't look like a John Deere tractor. But they did, I think they had to paint it and do some things so it didn't look like it. Now they're owned by John Deere, so they can make it look like John Deere. But the bottom line is, so do we need people if the tractor's just going to drive itself? We need more people in different positions. So the old jobs that we had, in my case milking cows, it's not necessarily going to be somebody I machine milk. I don't want to make it sound like I'm so old I hand milk, but you know. But I wasn't using a robot. There are so many opportunities, but what you need is more and more people using this. That's what your FFA kids can do as they move forward. More and more opportunities to use your knowledge to make great decisions on the farm. So the autonomous tractor may be doing some of the actual activities, but you're the one controlling it. You're the one deciding what to do. That's what we need FFA students, 4-H students for. This is brand new, and I thought it's important to put this in here because this is Slim Tech. It's a new company. They're located in West Lafayette. So we're growing ag tech in the state, and that's a robotic weed sprayer. But on top of it, it's got solar panels on top. So this whole battery issue doesn't exist for it. So just another really neat technology that's coming along. But that doesn't come along by having no people. That comes along with having people who know about agriculture. We have to have people that know about agriculture. If you don't have them, it's not picking up weeds, it's picking up your plants. So you really have to have people in FFA and in other areas. Do we need people to find cattle? Well, here's a herd inventory using a UAV, and you can see these are just rotational plots. They've marked all the cattle there. There are uses of UAVs, but you gotta have somebody directing that UAV, showing them what would be a cow, what a cow looks like. So lots of opportunities, but that saves the farmer work. Now you know where your cows are. Now you can see your cows moving. You can also see when one was left behind, and you can go find that one. And if you've got beef cattle out in a huge area, isn't it nice when you can't find one to have a robot go find the cow you're looking for, then you go out and look for it, instead of you walking or driving for how many miles before you find that cow. So lots of opportunity. But again, we need people. So in the end, to grow a sustainable future, we will continue to have technology. We will have new ideas, new things to move forward, but technology is only a part of it. Even AI, machine learning, people talk about machine learning. Well, the machine can learn the wrong thing unless people who know tell it the right things. So lots of opportunities for people So there's no doubt in my mind that youth are our future. It is FFA, it is 4-H. It's giving our students, our youth, subject matter expertise. It's not just that though, it's communication skills, leadership skills, entrepreneurial skills. Isn't that interesting? Those are the things we teach in FFA and 4-H. So my conclusion is there's a bright future ahead for our FFA students. I'm so glad to see how this chapter's been thriving for so long. Longest running chapter in the state, correct, RD? And that's what we need. We need these students because they are, for us, the future of agriculture. So thanks very much. It was great to talk to you. And I don't see too many asleep, so that's good.
Thank you, Karen. That